Abusia mo kwaba edoba daily update TV so. Domnovo part of Ora team member na okopie mujumadi ya TV3 key point so na hona host ebusa ne say only speaker be ya adwen say nneema isi wo vetting ase ano Dompreh afenyo market ne minority group no distraction omo cause table omo say ni speaker microphones omo say no on speaker ya adwen say omo nto sade no and say oh enye no krampo ye ko school no so obi ya ade na so obi say ade intentional say ade ya maneto way to it should come with penalty. Yes, and yes, or mon talk runners or moon replace a gadget no. They should come with penalty. Also, mutual BB. Their salary need to be what? Deducted. Abusia, a good presentation or drop a dom level and it is 72. God bless you.
But also to showcase to Ghanaians that yes, this is the right guy for the job. Give confidence to us. So you can't say that, well, I know Martin Kwebu. So when Martin comes in for job interview, I just say, Martin, how are you? Have you eaten this morning? Okay, I know you are right, so go. No, we don't do that. It's unprofessional. There must be consistency. There must be some minimal time spent on each nominee and some basic questions. In fact, questions which will test their competence. Irrespective of how good we think they are, must still be repeated or asked, so that we can benefit from the answers. Again, I find it preposterous that same question is repeated. At times, one person asks the question and the next person also comes in and asks the same questions. If you notice, some of the questions that Apenuma Kings was asking yesterday, at a point in time, he recused himself and went away. His colleagues asked those questions. He came back and repeated the same questions. And there I was also disappointed in the chairman. I thought the chair should have exerted his opportunity to say, look, you can't take advantage of your absence to send us back to questions which have already been asked. So when you ask the question, and I know it has been answered already, I overrule you so that we move on to the next one. So it is a learning process, and no institution is perfect. I think we should learn from this, and it will be great if the speaker will take the necessary initiative to reform or revise the modus operandi of the committee. And as for his disciplinary action, thumbs up for him. I think he has done the right thing, and he should continue disciplining them, because it is unacceptable that the leadership of the country would rather be showing acts of indiscipline. Thank you.
Well, and so you support that. In fact, as for the reform in the rules of the vetting is part of what the speaker has outlined, the emergency actions. So you're right. He is on the path that you want him to be on in reviewing those rules. But you also support that demand that the MPs who are found culpable should be made to pay for the cost of the destruction of the table and the microphones as well.
That's what they were doing to school children, isn't it? If students went on demonstration and broke things, they don't even only pay for, they made the parents pay for and call the parents to come and sign a bond. Of course, these ones are mature people, so we don't need to bring their parents. But they do not just pay with interest. There must be penalty on top of it. You can't ask a government official at that level be seen to be destroying government property. It's a break all the chairs. I heard one of them, I don't want to mention his name, but if you play the tape, he's a break all of them. I'm saying, my goodness, what is this? So I think he should not only recover the cost of the repairs, plus a penalty, in addition to the suspension. All the people captured in the video who facilitated in breaking the furniture and the speakers and etc. should be surcharged. And the surcharge should not just be the cost. They must pay penalty.
I see. So you support, you're saying that you heard one of the MPs saying break all the tables and break all the chairs.
Break the tables, yes. I don't know his name, but if you play the tape, you will get it.
He said it in tree, you heard it. There's a
yes.
No, he's saying it.
Yes.
I don't know whether you have that video, but I have that video.
And you were there and you saw him. You heard
Yes.
him.
No, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, but there's no mention in it for now.
You see, it is a different story when you watch it on TV, because actually the camera can only look at one place. But if you were in the room and you saw the chaos and said, "This is Parliament," sorry for crying aloud, this is Parliament. These are the guys who are supposed to have oversight responsibility for the country. In fact, whatever the executive do, they're supposed to have oversight over them, and they are behaving like this. My goodness. One day we will find the same, and we are trying to justify it. One day we will see in our courtrooms exchange of blows, and we say, "Oh, people fight in courtrooms." We should not tolerate indiscipline anywhere we find it. And we should never justify indiscipline because it is happening across the globe. I don't subscribe to that type of mindset.
Zanamolo, stay with me, and let's, during the week, Nelson Rosendafiamako raised concerns about the length of questions that the minority leader, the ranking on this committee, was asking. Then the chair of the committee, Bernard Ahiafo, had this to say in response. Let's take a listen to him.
To ask, honorable members, with all due respect, I belong to a school of thought that believes in the fact that when a procedure is set down for a right to be exercised, you follow that procedure in exercising the right. By practice, convention, and agreement at this committee's meeting, it was resolved that a ranking member of the committee would have unlimited number of questions to ask. I do not believe that any member of the committee available at which that decision was taken should come to the floor and take a decision contrary to what we have agreed upon, contrary to the practice and conventions. So please, let us not create the impression. Practice and conventions. So please, let us not create the impression that this is the first and I belong to a school of thought that believes in the fact that when a procedure is set down for a right to be exercised, you follow that procedure in exercising the right. By practice, convention, and agreement at this committee's meeting, it was resolved that a ranking member of the committee would have unlimited number of questions to ask. I do not believe that any member of the committee available at which that decision was taken should come to the floor and take a decision contrary to what we have agreed upon, contrary to the practice and conventions.
So, Mr. Damalavo, that's the chair in response to that concern that you raised, that it has been agreed upon that the ranking should have unlimited time.
Yes, then if they agreed upon, then they are contradicting themselves. I beg to differ with the chairman. If they really agreed that the ranking can ask unlimited questions, then they should not put any time frame to the interview. They should have just numbered them that health minister, then we go to foreign minister, and so, and don't put, when you put an hour, then I think common sense should tell us, that you must ask questions within a certain time frame. So there becomes a limit. So I don't agree with him. If they really agreed that the minority leader could ask several questions, then the question I ask is, all those questions, the 100 and more questions, they were expected to all be asked within an hour, together with the other people's questions. So I disagree seriously with him, and I think the reforms that the speaker is talking about need to come in. They should not forget that if they have their time to waste, they should know that other Ghanaians are also interested in the vetting. They want to know who is coming and who is going to be our leader. So they should not waste our time. They should go to the point, and they should desist from using the opportunity to settle scores by saying that as for you, we know you. As for you, you have been a problem for us. So it's time to teach you a lesson. No, tease out of the person the type of competencies, the skill set, etc. that he or she has, so that we can have confidence in the government and not to say, hey, you are our friend. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And
minority leader was given unlimited time. How can he be given unlimited time when you yourself has agreed to a published 1-hour interview? So if you have an interview, which is interview or vetting, which is supposed to last for an hour, and you alone spend 2 or 3 hours, how can we say that should be tolerated? Again, how can we say that because you have discretion, you can use it anyhow? The gentleman who spoke just before me made most of my points, so I don't want to repeat it. But what I want to say is that what disturbs me most is I saw 2 things I want to refer to. One of them is on Ghana Web, which is quoting exactly what Afenyo Makin said during his press conference. He said, "You don't expect us to spend 5 minutes on an arrogant nominee." So it is. So it means it is time to pay back, and it is not vetting. I thought the essence of the vetting is to tease out of the nominees the competencies that they have to see whether they fit for the purpose, they fit for the positions they are going to occupy. I thought that is the essence of any job interview. And the same mindset is what Joe Wise also has. Because when I was on another panel with Joe Wise 2 days ago, Joe Wise also said that, well, the essence of the vetting is to be sure that you qualify. But then if the president in his own wisdom think that it is Daniel that time to say you are doing vetting, you just need a clerk or 2 to look at the documents and say, no, you meet the requirement or you don't meet the requirement. So please, I think the mindset of our leaders must change. They don't seem to understand the role of vetting. I think the vetting should be a more serious business. I agree that your ethical background and etc. can be looked at. I have no problem with that. But then we go into areas where I can, I don't know the stretch of imagination that I can use to see how relevant that was. For instance, talking about somebody joining marshals or the junior marshals and the values there, and whether somebody will understand the virtues and the precepts of marshals if he's not a member of marshal. People read about law and can even discuss law better than some of the lawyers who practice in this country. There are some people who knows about the priesthood of the Catholic Church, but they are not priests, far more than the priests. So I thought that was not a platform to waste. And the parliamentarians or the members of the committee, there's one thing they forget. They've forgotten that they are not wasting only their time. They are wasting time of other Ghanaians who want to know or who are interested in some particular sectors. Maybe you are going to be in charge of health. You want to know who is coming. Is the guy the type of person we should expect, and etc. 2 weeks before the interview. This was not done, so they could not get any input from the society. I thought they should have emphasized on the subject matter aspects, who would tease out everything. Look, Akando, very quick run through the Accra Regional Minister Designate, quick run through. Some of them is like, oh, you are welcome, goodbye, go. We can't do that. If you have a 1-hour scheduled vetting, 80 minutes, and then someone 5 hours, I don't think we should use the vetting to settle personal scores, be it political or partisan or whatever it is. That is not the tool, and that is not the platform to be used in settling those scores. Thank you.
I see, and it's a very important point you make about how the questioning was done, and then also what led to this particular incident. Now, if you listen to the explanation around the chaos, the justification was that there was a certain agreement, And so even if 5 hours was spent on a nominee, the majority indicate that this schedule was supposed to have been complied with. The minority says, yes, 5 hours was spent, the time has already been spent, so let's push to the next day those nominees that have already been scheduled, one of whom you were there to support. Then we see this chaos, this act of disgrace that played out in this parliament. The speaker has taken some measures to address this. Mr. Domolovo, you've seen those measures. If you haven't, we could just run through it briefly, suspending 4 of them, three minority MPs and Nelson Royston Tafiamokpo, the majority chief whip, the minority chief whip as well, and the second deputy whip, all in there. How far-reaching will this be? And also, that chaos that we saw, is there any justification whatsoever for it?
Thank you very much. Let me say kudos to the speaker. When I heard it yesterday, I was very happy that he took a very quick and swift action and did not spare them. I think we should not countenance misbehavior in any form. Again, sorry, Franklin Kujo has his views and is entitled to them. But if people are cutting each other in Rwanda, should we say that in Rwanda there was genocide, so we can kill some of our people? No, we don't do those negative benchmarking at all. Killing and stealing is worldwide. So should we encourage it in Ghana or justify it in Ghana? Those negative benchmarking are not, there's no room for them. Hence, I say kudos to the speaker. The speed with which he addressed the issue, I think is necessary. It is commendable. And I will urge that maybe the guidelines given to them may have to be revisited and addressed. For instance, if you say that the ranking member or maybe the minority leader can ask all the questions that he wants, and we realize that there is abuse of it, then it means we now have to come out with specifics to say, well, during a 1 hour interview, you as a minority leader, you have 10 minutes, or you have 15 or 20 minutes to ask all your questions, or you are entitled to 5 questions. Or maybe if you come out with 5 questions, you can do 1 or 2 follow-ups for each of them, so that we manage.
I was now subscribe to my YouTube channel, like and share and for comment show my any day was ever the brand I can make tea for and everything you know what you check. I had to believe on a cassette. They see what parliament, you know. And I vetting cause so I not Dompreh and then call for also a lot of distraction. Our speaker, they are better to just say they will pay for a year gadget almost say no, because on other videos circulating now, and not Dompreh over to say okaze mututu table no, yes. It's no speaker right say or making sure say these people pay for this gadget or my say no. I daily update TV, so subscribe my YouTube channel, like and share and follow comment in social comment section. About the brand I can make tea for any actual phone you know what doing, just stay tuned, stay connected.